accidentally exposed my friend's fiancé because I was hooking up with him. I'm a 22-year-old gay man. I met my friend Sienna back in high school. She was the cool, older girl everyone liked. After graduation, we drifted apart. I went out of state for college. She stayed local. We barely talked, just birthdays and holidays. So imagine my surprise when my mom texted me saying a wedding invitation from Sienna had arrived at my parents' house. I congratulated her. She told me her longtime partner, Marcus, had proposed. A summer wedding, back in our hometown. A few weeks later, I got invited to one of the pre-wedding girls' nights. We got very drunk, the kind of drunk where no one thinks before they speak. People started talking about their relationships, and like an idiot, I pulled out my phone to show them the guy I'd been casually seeing that summer. Just a fling, no feelings. That guy was Marcus. Sienna completely lost it, which I understand. I had no idea what he looked like. The wedding invite had no photos. Her social media only showed her. There was no way I could have known. But then she turned on me and said I had ruined her wedding. And this is where I messed up. In a drunk moment, I said something loud and cruel in front of everyone. The room went silent. I felt sick immediately. I never wanted to hurt her. I tried apologizing again and again. She refused to talk to me. Later, Marcus was confronted. He confessed, not just about me, but about multiple other men over the course of their 4-year relationship. The wedding was called off. Now I'm left wondering. I didn't know, but I still exposed everything. Am I the asshole for how it came out? Or was the truth going to surface no matter what? I secretly got a paternity test for my son, and now my wife says our marriage is over. I'm a 29-year-old white man. My wife is 30 and black. We have 2 kids, a 5-year-old son and a 3-year-old daughter. My wife got pregnant with our son early in our relationship. We had only been together for about a year. We got married because she was pregnant. Thankfully, we were actually happy. When my son was born, I accepted him as mine, but I couldn't ignore how little he looked like me. He's noticeably darker than my wife. He doesn't look mixed at all. Family and friends kept asking if I was sure he was mine. I had doubts, but I chose to trust my wife. I loved my son regardless. When my son was 2, my wife had our daughter. I had no doubt she was mine. She looks just like me. She even has my blue eyes. I didn't realize how powerful that certainty would be. I bonded with her more easily. So did my family. And that resemblance convinced me my son wasn't mine. I tried to treat both kids equally. I truly did. But over time, I realized I was starting to resent my son. It felt unfair to care for someone else's child. I also began to resent my wife. I felt betrayed. So I secretly got a paternity test. The results came back. He is my son. Genetics are weird. That was 4 months ago, and honestly, everything improved after that. My relationship with my wife got better. My bond with my son felt stronger. We were even talking about having a 3rd child. Then I told her the truth. I admitted I had gotten the test. I hated keeping the secret. I thought she'd understand, given how little he looks like me. She didn't. She asked if I ever doubted our daughter. I said no. She called me racist. I told her that wasn't true. I didn't prefer my daughter because she's lighter. I just knew she was mine. She said I made our son feel unloved for years for no reason. I said that wasn't fair. Even when I had doubts, I still treated him like my child. Now she wants to move out. She says she'll take the kids once quarantine is over. It's been over a week. I'm still sleeping on the couch. She barely talks to me unless it's about the kids. She's furious that I didn't trust her, and furious that, in her eyes, I rejected our son because he's darker. I don't want to lose my family. So now I'm asking, was it really that wrong to have doubts, even if I still stepped up as a father? Or is she overreacting to something I can't undo? I made a joke during my friend's wedding speech, and she hasn't spoken to me since. This happened a couple of weeks ago, but I'm still trying to process it. I'm a 30-year-old man. My friend Colleen, also 30, and I have known each other since we were kids. Her family is deeply Catholic. She isn't nearly as religious herself, which matters later. Years ago, Colleen met a guy I'll call Mike. They became serious. I met him, we got along great, and the three of us hung out often. Eventually, he proposed. They had a big wedding. The ceremony went smoothly. At the reception, some of us were giving speeches. When it was my turn, I went up and talked about how happy I was for them. Then I told a story from college. Basically, my speech went like this. When Colleen and I went to college together, she loosened up a lot compared to her Catholic school days. But then she met Mike, and he seemed to calm her down. I said I was happy for them and wished them a successful marriage. The audience was laughing through most of it. People seemed to enjoy the speech. Given that the three of us had always joked around together and shared a crude sense of humor, I thought it would land fine. I didn't realize there was a problem until later. I walked over to Colleen's parents' table to say hello. They immediately brushed me off. Confused, I went to find Colleen and Mike and asked if everything was okay. They told me, "We need to talk." They pulled me into the back of the venue and asked about the speech. I said most people seemed to enjoy it. I said college is a time when people experiment and figure themselves out. Colleen completely lost it. She started yelling at me, saying I had no right to say any of that. She was so upset that Mike had to step in and calm her down. Eventually, she walked away. Mike stayed behind and told me that while the story was funny, I should have kept it between the three of us. Since the wedding, I've tried reaching out to Colleen. She blocked me everywhere. Mike hasn't responded either. Most of the guests seemed entertained and probably forgot about it by now, so I honestly don't understand why this turned into such a big issue. So now I'm thinking, was I really out of line for making that joke at her wedding, or did she overreact to something harmless? I started punishing my husband, because after 20 years, I finally snapped. My husband has been tested for ADHD. He doesn't have it, but he has many of the same issues. He says writing lists, setting alarms, or making schedules is physically painful for him. He'd rather deal with occasional emergencies than be proactive. Here's the specific problem. He constantly forgets to push the shower diverter valve down, the little rod on the tub faucet that switches the water from the shower back to the tub. For nearly 20 years, I have been asking him to push it down, since I was literally a teenager. At least twice a month, I turn on the shower and get blasted with freezing water, a cold, miserable wake-up. Every single time he apologizes, and every single time a week or two later, it happens again. He always says he's working on it, that he's been better lately, but somehow, after 20 years, it never stops. Today, I finally had enough. I stepped into the shower, turned on the water, and got hit with a freezing spray, and something in me just broke. I grabbed a plastic cup from the sink and filled it with a few inches of cold water. Then I walked out to where he was standing naked. He had just taken off his pajamas and was about to take his own shower after me. Without warning, while he was looking down, I flung that cold water all over his face and torso. I told him his apologies meant nothing, that I was tired of listening to him congratulate himself for getting better when I had been asking for the same basic thing for 20 years. I told him I don't accept his apologies anymore, and that the fact that it's an accident doesn't excuse it. I told him that from now on, every time I take a surprise cold shower, so will he. That I refuse to be a second-class citizen in my own home, and if he refuses to make changes to treat me better, I will make changes to treat him worse. I told him I won't tolerate this anymore. And I meant it. I plan to keep doing it. Every cold shower I get, he gets one too. I'm tired of asking. I'm tired of begging for basic respect. And I'm tired of being told I just have to live with this forever. So my question is, I know I'm probably an asshole, but am I a justified asshole?